Chairman Committee, thank you for allowing MDES to present our budget request to the Appropriations Committee. I am Bill Ashley, Executive Director, and I'm joined by several MDES team members today. Guy Martin, Chief of Staff and Chief Financial Officer, Laura Ring, Chief Operations Officer, Timothy Rush, Deputy Executive Director of Reemployment Assistance, Dr. Jason Pope, Deputy Executive Director of Workforce Programs and Services, Tyler Birch, Controller, Vincent Steiner, Accelerate Mississippi Fiscal Manager, Carrie McCollin, Strategic Projects and Training, and Ms. Anna Clemmer, Senior Attorney. I would like to take this time to say you have a handout. We'll go through the handout. You have the top sheet is what we're going to talk about today. You also have our annual report as well as my remarks that I'm giving. The Mississippi Department of Employment Security, Office of the Governor, in some form, has served as the state workforce agency for Mississippi since the passage of the Wagner-Pfizer Act by Congress in 1933, a span of over 93 years, and is committed to fostering employment opportunities and supporting businesses and job seekers through a wide array of workforce agency programs. MDES is a special fund agency supported by federal funds. The agency's three primary programs are funded by the United States Department of Labor and are as follows: Employment Services, or ES, combined with Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, or WIOA programs, Labor Market Information, and Unemployment Insurance. The agency's mission is helping Mississippians get jobs. MDES completes its mission of connecting workers with jobs by providing job placement and training to workers and personnel services to businesses. In addition to collecting federally required unemployment taxes, MDES collects training taxes from employers that provide administrative funding to the State Workforce Investment Board and the Office of Workforce Development Accelerate Mississippi, and workforce training funding to the Office of Workforce Development Accelerate Mississippi that flows to the community colleges for training as well as acute training needs derived from economic development projects across the state. MDES is the fiscal agent for Accelerate Mississippi. The top handout that I provided contains 5 columns. Number 1, FY26 MDES approved budget. Number 2, FY27 original request. Number 3, FY 2027 elbow recommendation. Number 4, FY27 revised request from us. And finally, number 5, the difference in the elbow recommendation and MDES's revised request. The variance between the elbow recommendation and the revised request from MDES is driven by 2 primary line item adjustments. Number 1, an increase of a little over $1 million in salaries and fringe benefits. And number 2, a decrease of a little over $500,000 in contractual services. I am asking for level spending authorization, the same as FY26, but with line item adjustments to reflect staffing levels. These changes reflect updated staffing. As you see, MDES currently has 406 employees with 28 positions in active recruitment status and an additional 6 positions included in planned headcount, bringing the total headcount to 440. This is higher than the 418 positions assumed at the time the elbow recommendation was developed. Please note that MDES will reduce its workforce by 13 positions compared to last fiscal year's headcount of 453. MDES is requesting budget authority of $139,802,496 and 440 positions. This request includes $1.4 million for the State Longitudinal Data System, or SLDS, and $400,000 for fiscal support of Accelerate Mississippi. Based on the elbow recommendation for the Office of Workforce Development, again also known as Accelerate Mississippi, the office potentially will receive $79,408,015. MDES is requesting $400,000, or roughly 0.50% or 0.5%. To be precise. To support Accelerate Mississippi in our role as fiscal agent, that's what that's for. This funding is not just a request, but a needed proactive step to capitalize on economic momentum and address workforce challenges head on. By authorizing the expense of the federal funds by MDES, the legislature will further empower the agency to support Mississippi's businesses, enhance labor market participation, and secure a prosperous future for all Mississippians. We urge your support to ensure MDES can continue helping Mississippians get jobs. Thank you. And do you have any questions for me or my team? Williams?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for being here. Thank you all for being here. Could you elaborate a little bit on the 1.4 million for the SLDS system, what that does and what it does, what it is and what it does?
That the state longitudinal data system is essentially the keeper of all of the state's education as well as employment data. I believe this has been around since 2010. I think received money from the federal government. And so essentially this goes into a lot of research. We do have a vendor, a specific vendor that does the research for us. So this is a line item that has been a pass through. Again, it goes essentially from our agency after it comes from the legislature into the body that there's a board that has the SLDS and captures this dollar. And then from that, they contract with a third party vendor.
Is that a one-time ask or is that a recurring?
Recurring.
So that's basically our residual component of the data system.
Well, this is state longitudinal data system.
Right.
It's an entity essentially unto itself. But yes, this carries over every year.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any other questions from committee members? Central Board.
Got a quick question. Your salary increases that you're looking at, are these increases or these actual pins that you're wanting to increase on this?
The pins are going to decrease. I will defer to my Chief Financial Officer, Guy Martin.
So those, because we're not looking for increases, we're looking to hire the 28 active positions, and assuming all 406 current employees don't leave us, and we hire 28 more people, that's going to be 433 people. And so we're just asking to retain a few extra pins of potential need for us. Does that make sense?
I think it does.
Yes, we did have 453 authorized last year. So this year we're asking for 440. We've again been in declining headcount, as you see. The main thing post pandemic, we just have to be ready for the next turn of the macro cycle. Fancy words for saying the business cycle will rotate, and there's good parts which we're currently experiencing, and then there's the other.
The 26 pins were added back.
Say again, I didn't hear.
26 pins were added back.
26 pins were added.
I know.
So yes, we're just asking for 22 pins to be added back based on your recommendation. So that's what we're at. Ultimately, you're recommending 418, and we're asking if you would give us 22 back. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So
Gotcha.
yeah, that's what we're asking. Yes, sir.
Yes.
So you got a reduction of 13.
Voluntarily.
From our current year, we're at 453. So we're saying, hey, we're giving up 13, and you're recommending 418. And so we're just saying, would you potentially give us back those 22?
Are those ones that are retiring or?
It's a combination thereof as far as the turnover. So we lose people, we gain people, and people do retire. Yes, sir.
Any further questions? Well, thank you.
We appreciate your time. Senator, how are you? Can't talk long with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
little beach reading.
Thank you, ma'am.
Where they do things differently.
Beach is really appealing at this moment in time.
Thank you.
Yes,
Okay, Accelerate Mississippi, you on the clock.
Awesome. See if I can beat my best time. I'm just kidding. So, oh, Chairman Committee, it's great to be with you all today. In front of you, you have kind of our simplified version of our requests and any differences noted, and just our annual report that we put out that really highlights the programs and where the money went last year. Across the board on our funded programs. So y'all can see that. Those reports are available on our website, including our quarterly reports and every year. So that stays on our website, lives there. I'm not going to tell you it's an easy read. So if you have questions about anything, just let me know and we'll talk through them on those things. But I wanted to start real quick. I kind of like to approach these from this is what you gave us last year. This is what we did with it. And this is what we're asking for next year. And this is what we want to do with it, if that's okay.
That's fine.
Okay. So this past year, we are requesting level funding this year overall, outside of ARPA, that's going down. But last year we deployed what we call Encore and Facet through our Talent Solutions division. And that is Encore is an instructor recruiting program that we use, and we have had 23 people apply, and we have hired one, fortunately not us, but one of our community college partners. So we started that in August. And so we're really proud of that to try to get more visibility to tradesmen and women who are looking to retire. And instead of leaving the workforce, maybe they stay on as an instructor. It's a chance to see if we can get more people involved in teaching at our training partners and our training providers. We also launched Facet in partnership with Northwest Community College, specifically came out of the Amplify project, the battery manufacturer up there. That project, we have had one group of instructors graduate right before Christmas, and that really is just to enhance the capability of our instructors because they do come from all different backgrounds. The community colleges are working really hard, and you get them where you can find them, but most of them do not come from a formal education environment. So trying to lean into our partners there. Over the past year, our Talent Solutions has worked really closely with Amplify to support instructional design and delivery in partnership with Northwest. This is to connect training providers, the broader workforce system, everything that a new company might need to know and connect to in Mississippi without just throwing a bunch of acronyms at that. So we kind of come alongside them, walk alongside them as they're getting started. It's been a great learning experience for everybody, but we supported just over 3,000 instructional design hours. That includes consultative and production support for their 40-hour onboarding. That's 100 hours of in-person courses delivered in partnership with Northwest, battery manufacturing, ergonomics, problem solving, everything they need to get started. And we're really excited about that because that also has helped us build out our SWAT team, is what we call it, for workforce. We have developed and coordinated and launched what we call Power Path, which is a K-12 advanced manufacturing credentialing model for 39 high school students from 5 different Marshall County schools. And we are working to bring that to another region and other regions now as we grow. So we just use that project to pilot some things and then scale it where appropriate. We have deployed 204 career coaches serving 209 schools across Mississippi. We currently are tracking 22,046 unique interactions with about 7,300 repeated interactions, which basically means our coaches have talked to 22,000 people and they've had at least a second conversation with 7,000 of them this school year. So we're really, really excited about that. Healthcare, advanced manufacturing, and construction are the 3 priority areas that students are meeting with coaches about. We still have work to do here to make sure we are driving home occupations that they cannot see or touch. So it's an ongoing process. Just as a quick overview, we operate what we call Workforce Enhancement Training Funds, Mississippi Works, Equip Mississippi, and ARPA. In ARPA, we have 84 million allocated this year. We have reimbursed, no, this year, we have reimbursed 67 million. I'm off on that.
Yes, 84.
No, it is 84. You're right. Okay, sorry. 16 million remaining. We do have the final reimbursement date set for September 30th so that it can be closed out on December 31st. We do not anticipate any big non-use, I guess I should say. So we don't think any more money is going to come back. We are conducting monthly check-ins on this money to make sure that they're using it and that they're spending it. Spending money is a major focus for us right now, for everyone, and making sure we have it lined out appropriately. Equip Mississippi is the K-12 equipment grant program. The way that is worded is approximately 1 million a year. We have run through 2 funding years of that. This year we had $630,000 allocated, which brings the 2-year total to 2.2 million for that program. We again are having monthly check-ins to keep people rolling. WET funds, workforce enhancement training funds. We have 36 million allocated. 18 million of that is through what we call open enrollment, customized training, contract training, industry led. And then we have 18 million for basic skills and special projects. These are things that maybe we're starting a new program, maybe we need some enhanced equipment, something like that, primarily through our community college partners. We have in Mississippi Works, we have 18 million allocated and 13 million remaining to be spent this year because we have reimbursed 2 million. It doesn't all hit every year. It rolls from year to year pretty significantly, actually. Our data and insights team is working with national groups like Strata and Lumina to align credentials, produce more transparent data related to education and workforce, and impacts on special populations like our prison population. We're in the middle of a WIOA plan rewrite with our core partners like MDES. We are proposing a suite of waivers to the federal government. We haven't identified what those are exactly yet, but we're working on that to try to make sure we can serve the humans who come to us instead of saying, "Oh no, sorry, we can't help you." So we're working through that with all the partners, and we're working to create different ways to smooth out the process for the individual. For FY27, we are requesting level funding overall. As noted on the sheet, we are requesting that some salaries be accurately derived from POPI funds, which is reflected. So you'll see the line item on the top adjusted there, but it's coming out of POPI. This represents an overall continuation and expansion for all the things that, a portion of what I just mentioned to you. There's some other things, but that's the big stuff. The salary increases to address healthcare, retirement, unemployment, and workers' comp increases, as well as requesting 2 new positions, one for talent solutions and a systems administrator. We have been gracious, thanks to MDES has been gracious to let us live in all their stuff for the last 5 years, but it's time to fly birdie, get our own apartment, so to speak, where IT is concerned. Maybe have some stuff of our own, but this ultimately is just a stabilization of the office. We're really excited to be there. Travel is anticipated. Travel budget remains the same from last year. Contractual represents anticipated costs to the office, provide required leadership for the workforce system. It also includes the cost of contracting for the ROI study, auditing funds, managing the award processing, and ensuring the legality of operations. It does also include the system works that we are doing with NSPARC and MDES. That's a $500,000 line item that you guys have in there for us. And it represents funds needed to support talent solutions and the SWAT team that I mentioned earlier. And that works with recruiting, contracting, and training as necessary by companies. Commodities line item supports the office, level funding there. Equipment supports additional equipment needed for the office, which is a small amount, but it also represents equipment needed for training programs, depending on where they are. There are some situations where our schools, K-12 specifically, cannot take a grant because they don't have the money on the front end to buy the equipment. So we can give them $200,000, but they can't go buy anything because their budget, it just takes 2 years to do something that we could potentially do pretty quickly. So we're trying to stretch and do those things to, again, reduce bureaucracy, smooth these things, and worry more about the training than filling out a bunch of paperwork if it puts you in a position that makes you ineligible or unable to receive money. You'll see in the SLNG line, 63,900,000 for budget year. This provides funding. This is web funds, works funds, all the ones I went through earlier. That's the same as it has been, so not requesting anything different there. We are not requesting an increase in career coach funding. If you deem such necessary, we would love to take it, but I'm not requesting it this year. We don't normally, I don't normally add anything specific to any kind of flow throughs, but again, we're happy to support those as y'all need to. And that is all.
Thank you.
Happy to answer all the questions.
Senator Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank y'all for being here. Appreciate the job that you do. Just wanted to make sure that with the ARPA money, you said you're gonna have it all basically allocated the 30th of September.
Spent, yes, sir.
Yeah, so it'll be spent. That's good. That's good because we're getting a deadline on
Got
that.
about 16 million left.
Good, good. The pins on this sheet, I have no pins. Are y'all under MDES? Is that what that is?
DES, but we're not under personnel board.
Okay,
So
all
we
right.
don't have pins, but we did put 28 on here because I do want to hire 2 new people. So we kind of fall in the same process, but it doesn't go through personnel board.
Got you. Appreciate it. Thank y'all. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Senator.
Thank you. You said you were asking for level funding for career coaches. We have 204.
Yes, sir.
I think that program's been wildly successful. Every time I go to school districts, they said, give us some more. How much does it cost per coach or whatever? I mean, and
About $75,000 per coach. That includes benefits, materials, everything they need for the year.
okay. And, you know, if there was an increase, you can handle the increase and get a disperse as appropriate.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
So if I understand you, if I look at the budget, you're increasing your salary, your benefits, adding 2 people. You're increasing your salary and your benefits, adding 2 people, and you're reducing your contractual services.
Yes, sir.
Is that correct? And so what, maybe I didn't hear, but what are the contractual services that you are going to reduce it by?
So the contractual, one thing we have done is we have moved the auditing, the internal monitoring function, and we apply that to the fund that they are monitoring instead of paying out of general funds.
Okay.
So basically, the cost goes back to the program that it's supporting instead of the state general
That's
fund.
it. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions from the committee members? Well,
Yeah.
you beat your record. Thank you.
Sorry.
Get out there, I don't think we're handicapped to start. Okay, Mr. President, you're recognized. We ready?
Well, good afternoon. We hate to give up that coveted 4:30 PM slot, but we appreciate y'all getting us in here a little earlier. We will be brief. My name is Jim Happy. I'm the president of Holmes Community College. I'm the chair of our Presidents Association. Looks like we have at least two of our other presidents here, Dr. Dwayne Middleton from Catalina and Dr. Steve Basic from Hines. And then I'm joined by Dr. Oscar Brooks and Dr. Heimel from Northwest Community College in East Mississippi, along with our executive director of our board that does a great job coordinating us, keeping us all straight. But we have a presentation on some of our capital requests, and then I think Gail's going to hit on a few things with the agencies. And of course, we're happy to answer any questions you guys, anybody's may have. Scott.
Thanks, Mr. Mr. Chairman. Just a brief snapshot of what community colleges in Mississippi today look like. As of academic year 2024, there were 88,600 students educated at Mississippi community colleges. And of that breakdown, and this comes from the EBC report card, 47,625 of those are students that are seeking a four-year degree on that university parallel track. 18,032 of those students are career tech, probably seeking to find a job when they graduate from school. 21,400 are dual enrollment, those high school students that are enrolled with us, picking up college credits while they're in high school, getting a jump start on college. And about 1,600 were non-degree seeking students. And if you look at the number of graduates, people that actually graduated from the colleges, we had 15,705 graduates, earned 20,000 awards. And of those, 8,248 were AA degrees, 4,766 were AA Associate of Applied Science degrees, and 7,061 career and technical degrees. Excuse me, that was 4,766 Associate of Applied Arts. But that data comes from the EAC data, and that's 150% of the first-time full-time students graduation rate. We have a goal to get to that ascent to 55, that 55% number we talk about. Right? Our goal is to get to 55%. Right now, we're around 42% graduation rate, but we've been climbing. We're moving in that direction. So we're trying to move that needle to that 55 number, but we're looking for that. Dr. Heine?
Yeah, and we just want to thank you all for your time today. We did note that Dr. Ashley, Dr. Taylor were very brief, so we'll try to be brief as well. But we just want to share with you a few more stats and then get to our request. But really, the average age of a community college student in Mississippi is 22 years of age. 62% are female. 95% are Mississippi residents. We're proud of that fact. 62% are full-time. 52% are enrolled in an academic curriculum. Now, y'all realize we have the academic track students. These are the students that are transferring to a university. We have the career technical students, and then we have the health science students. Y'all know our students and the tracks they're following. 53%, a little over half are freshmen, and then the average ACT score is 19. And then just this next slide is really just really a little bit more information about the annual average tuition and fee amount is $4,068. And then just how things have changed over the last few years in terms of support that the state has provided versus how that, has shifted over the last few years. So in 2000, that 55.8% was that revenue that came to the community colleges came from the state.
as opposed to 40% in FY '25. And that just changes over time, really, and tells a tale, though, about just that, how again, levels of funding do shift over time. As a reminder, you all probably do remember this, $292 million were provided to community colleges last year. That factored in, though, the 2.5% cut that the community colleges received. No pay raises, but let me just say this: thank you all in advance for jumping out there really quickly in the beginning of this session with just really thinking about how raises could be provided to community college faculty. And then, as you all remember, there was no support for facilities, repairs, renovations, maintenance, things such as that. But I'll cut to the chase, because really the chase has to do with our request for this upcoming fiscal year. And so that is this slide here. And so the first, really, if you think of it in two ways, basically two requests. It has to do with just general support, number one. Number two has to do with facilities. So again, general support and facilities. On the general support side, that's made up of three different areas. A 6% salary increase for our employees at the community colleges. We have 8,319 employees at our community colleges, our 15 community colleges in the state. And so anyway, 6% would equate to that $28 million request. Basic operations, there is a request for increased help, increased support in the amount of $28.5 million. This really comes in the, as you all know, utility costs continue to escalate. But the thing that we've seen most notably, though, our insurance costs have risen. On average, it's somewhere close to 20% for our community colleges this past year. And just in Northwest alone, it was $130,000 more than last year. So just anyway, that's part of that mix. And then the CTE Advantage, and we again thank you all for your continued help in that way, because as you know, that when we start up career technical programs, the funding lags behind right at a year. So these Career Tech Advantage funds allow us to do things like startup programs from the very beginning with salaries, with equipment, things like welding, robotic welding in Batesville at our Concourse campus. You know, that these funds were used for, just as an example, you know, mechatronics, precision manufacturing, those types of programs we've been able to start at our community colleges with some of these funds. So all total, $61.5 million. With regard to facilities, y'all, we have 18,913,129, to be exact, square feet of community college facility space, made up of 1,047 buildings. So as you all can imagine, there's a lot of costs when it comes to our facilities in terms of just maintenance, repairs, renovations that need to take place from time to time. We do have varying degrees of need all across the state. We did not receive funding last year, so the request this year is for $150 million. We all have identified all sorts of capital projects. So we, the community colleges, have identified in the neighborhood of $179 million for capital improvement projects, $92.5 million in repair and renovation projects, and $141 million in pre-planning for projects. So all total, that's about $413 million worth of identified need at our institution, going all the way for the gamut from pre-planning to repair, renovation, maintenance, and even some of that is new facilities. And so that is the request in regard to our facilities. And I think that was the bulk of the detail there. And I'll hand it over to Kel to share with you a little bit of requests from the Community College Board side.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Dr. Heindel. Thank you for members of the committee for allowing us to take just a few minutes to talk about our needs for this fiscal year, this upcoming fiscal year, and then also a couple of seconds to talk about the agency. So I'm the executive director of the Community College Board. We're the coordinating entity that oversees the colleges We work closely with them in career and technical education efforts, helping to write curriculum for career tech programs. We're the state's adult education office. We have our hands in just several different areas to help the community colleges be the best they can for all of our students. So my request for our agency is simple this year. We're funded at $6,125,844. If we could have restoration of the general fund cuts that were included in JLBC, that would be appreciative. That's $310,000. And then this is a new ask for us, $2 million for adult education efforts across the state. Y'all have in front of you a one-page handout. Y'all probably heard me say before, in Mississippi, we have anywhere from 300 to 330,000 Mississippians without a high school diploma. And that's a challenge for them. That's a challenge for the state. That's a challenge for all of us. And so we receive right now about $1.8 million in state funding for adult education efforts. Overall, we spend about 8.8 when you consider federal funding as well. So we feel like the $2 million is a fair ask that can definitely go a long way. Working with InSpark, we've identified that for every the estimated annual return on investment for those who get an HSE is $9,400. So we feel like that's a very worthwhile investment for the state and its resources. So just a couple of things that I wanted to mention on behalf of the agency, and I'll turn it back over to them to land the plane on our economic impact study.
Mr. Chairman, the justification for our request, this is the fun part. This is the why. Why would we ask for increases? We provided you with an economic impact study that we commissioned InSpark to put together for us that was completed in March of 2025. And I'm going to hit some of the highlights of the successes and how this investment in our community colleges that we're asking for impacts Mississippians. Some key findings. Number one, more than 84% of community college graduates either work in Mississippi or continue their education at a Mississippi public university within 1 year of graduation. Our graduates are staying home. 84% are still here, either going to work or pursuing further education. 75% of those non-university bound graduates are employed in Mississippi. They're here earning a wage, buying property, building homes, staying here in our state. 75% are employed within 1 year graduating. That's the people that's building our state, paying our taxes, and rebuilding our wealth. Our AS graduates earn more than double the average wage of a non-college high school graduate, non-college bound high school graduate. So those guys and gals getting those 2-year Associate of Applied Science degrees are hitting the ground running with a really good salary. In fact, their first year out with an AAS degree, they'll average $45,452. And then 5 years out, they'll average $51,767. Many of those AAS degrees will exceed a university graduate in 5-year earnings. So those are significant earnings for people about very young and early in their career. And we also have 27,000 Mississippians that will enter their career when we receive non-credit training through Accelerate Mississippi and partnerships that we have to help them get greater skills where they may be working to move up that career ladder so they too can earn more wages to return that investment back into our state in the form of taxes. And last but not least, 4,450 of our former community college students completed a bachelor's degree in our public universities in 2023. So the ones that are staying here and getting a baccalaureate degree at high rates. And that, I open the table for questions. Senator Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Appreciate it. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here with all your hard work. I want to go back and talk about the facilities just for a moment. Of the $150 million request, what amount of that's R&R?
Yes. $92.5 million.
I mean, that was in your big number, that was several hundred million, 92 million to the 150, where you'd be given it, be put in on smaller piece.
If the $150 million is provided to the community colleges, then it would be a lesser amount than the 92.5. We all undergo, all the 15 colleges undergo, as you probably know this, but we undergo like an analysis of, multi-year facilities plan. And in that multi-year plan, that's kind of what that $413 million is about. So
do you know what your R&R expenditures were in the last fiscal year?
I do not off the top, but we can try to find that for you.
As you know, we did the property tour this year and, a lot of great resources around, things are struggling. It just, I'm recommending to have more of an intentionality in that R&R component. Obviously, if we don't replace roofers and we don't do the work that we need to do, the number just gets bigger as we go by.
Right.
I've suggested that, I think there should be a line item in the budget. As we look at allocating money, everybody likes new big buildings, but we're gonna take other ones we got. So, just encourage y'all to kind of look at that as an incremental component of a budget. If we got 150, or we're gonna take that 1.5 to 3 is the industry number percent that we should do. We've got a backlog. If we can kind of put that as a priority, I think that kind of helps us in preservation of our public facilities.
Great point. I mean, we're big opponents of R&R. I mean, like we said, we have 1,000 buildings and, we're 100 years old. And so we're repurposing buildings that, were dairy barns that are now, career tech labs or, e-learning hubs. And so that's what that's really what we're the most proud of, is when we can take.
Absolutely. I do a great job of that. I've witnessed that as we're going around the state, and we got, whether we get legislative or not, we got what we call them a demolition bill. We got some buildings that are obsolete. We just kind of handcuffed and getting them done. So, by having a good R&R maintenance schedule, kind of lets we're just spending too much money on this building, or we need to get this over the demolition schedule or not. Just trying to keep that front and center. Obviously, we want the new buildings, don't get me wrong, but kind of maintaining what we've got is just good, doing better less, if you will.
Absolutely.
Thank y'all. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
I had one more. Insurance, 20%. Man, every time we go around, insurance has been, I figured after a while, have y'all beat on them and found out why? I mean, do we have claims? Obviously, on the other side of that should be what's creating that. It just doesn't seem like we've had, thank you, Lord, the natural disasters that would do that. Is there any reasoning as to why we see this every year?
I just think the construction costs, the claim costs, what it costs to get something rewired, maybe 3 times what it was 5 or 6
I mean, if
years ago.
inflationary measures have gone up 20% and that's the metric that does it, it just, it just feels painful when we hear it.
Yeah, I just think when they look at, I think Heinz lost a significant building to a fire. When they just look at the
I know
construction
claims,
cost
I
of
know.
those things,
Yes,
it's
sir.
what was killing us, and we're not refusing to pay it, so they keep praising the
Really,
release.
Senator Williams, I'm not aware of any of our colleges this past year to reflect that, except maybe the way that things are. I don't know of a single building that was like went down or something. I'm not aware of that.
I mean, I'm seeing in my company personally, we're all seeing that, just wondering the things that are driving that. Anyway.
Things we've never seen before, though, like cybersecurity, insurance, that has continues to rise.
It does.
Good point.
It's exponentially.
Yes.
Like you can hardly get an insurance plan anymore.
Good
That's
point.
those kind of things that I see continue to be added to our insurance.
That number, so, yeah, that makes a lot of
And then
sense.
it's frustrating because your rate goes up, but they also say, before we insure you, we want a driver's license on every driver that you have. We want you to completely sprinkle every building that you have. We want fire doors put in here. So it's not just the rates, it's the $1 million or $2 million of improvements that they want to those buildings before they'll even insure your vehicle fleet or your facilities.
Well, thank you. And thank you, gentlemen, for what you do with our community college system. You do excellent.
Senator Free.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I appreciate, especially junior colleges, community colleges. I graduated from one. They're not at the table, but I did graduate from Jones Community.
Okay.
Yeah. Before y'all were born. Of the 150 million in facilities, what percentage of that are athletic facilities? Any?
I think that we looked at a very small percentage in the planning, Senator. Not the 150. That there's no athletic facility contemplated in that. But long range planning, I did see something where I think something at one of our colleges, the tennis facility would be resurfaced. Trying to think of what else we saw earlier today, Kel, when we were looking at it, but it was maybe another facility.
So our request is just a sum of money that we felt was appropriate based on what the needs are. And we have a formula for it. If it's capital expense funds, how those funds are dispersed to the colleges. And then they're able to take that funding and do with it as they see fit on their campuses.
So some of it may not actually be itemized as to what you're actually going to use it for.
Well, we've got a listing that we can provide that has a breakdown of what was mentioned, the 179 million in capital improvements, all that. We can get that for you.
I just wanted to see if you had.
Yeah.
The other thing is you had 300,000 young people. My wife has she didn't graduate from high school. She has a master's degree though, but so she had to go back and get a GED. So I understand those people out there that are struggling without having a formal education and then having to go back and do that. So I'm telling you my whole life story. But you're 300,000 people without a diploma, high school diploma, and you ask for $2 million for that. That's average about $6,600 a student. Is that about what it costs to educate a student in Mississippi?
Cost to educate a student at a community college this year is about $12,000. That's
So that's about half of what it takes to get them through where they need to get.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
And the board.
First of all, I want to thank y'all. And I am thrilled to see y'all putting the $2 million in here for adult education because we know that that is our largest market that we can improve on what we're doing with that. So I'm thrilled to see y'all putting that in here. And I am appreciative to many of y'all who've worked on some programs that we'll be introducing through legislation next week that would hopefully help in this arena. Also want to thank y'all. Some of y'all have worked with financial literacy and multiple things in this. I'm very appreciative of the work y'all have been doing. One of the things though, I will ask you to relay because it's actually not you in the room that one of the questions that came out as we were having college and university hearings is some of you are doing an absolutely great job. And I'm sitting here looking at some of you who are doing a fabulous job of working with Accelerate, identifying those places where we can grow our job markets in the state and then effectively targeting them. Some of you are not doing as good of a job on that. I would ask that y'all as officers relay that because we got to do a better job because we shouldn't just be ascending to 55 right now. We should truly, as we all know, be ascending to 60. If we're looking at what is going on in our other states and quickly, we need to be ascending to 65%. So I am asking y'all to relay that message. I realize this is your budget hearing, but their budgets and their planning need to be impacted that we are moving towards that. So, and some of you, we will all introduce them to Courtney because she will be glad to now. So, and y'all have. So to those of y'all who have, thank you very much, but we got to move and we got to move faster. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Any closing remarks? I would just say, I would just like to say thank you to the committee and thank you for the support that we've got over the years. I like to say Mississippi's got the greatest community college system in the nation. I've observed that and I see that from my own eyes. And I think part of the reason we have great legislative support and our partnerships with our county boards of supervisors really puts us above. And we need to keep higher or somebody's going to catch us. And that's our goal is to keep moving that goalpost. So thank y'all.
Add something, Mr. Chairman. Can I add something real quick?
Sure.
So that you know, the Senate passed an education bill and did not forget you, your instructors. So it's $2,000 if we, and the goal is to get it up to $5,000. So I wanted to let you know that even though you're asking for a little bit more, you're going to get a little bit more for your teachers. So I want to make sure that you understood that.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, yes. But the problem, of course, is that for every teacher we have an accountant. An HVAC tech who has to keep the buildings cool so we can be in them. Yeah. I have to have people who work on our grant programs. I can go on and on and on.
Yeah.
And our faculty are phenomenal. They're great, but without the support staff, they can't do their job.
Yeah.
All I can say is ditto.
Chairman Hobson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was looking for the expenditure from last year. We put $450,000, Kel, in for the adult education testing fees. And how's that program working so far?
We can get numbers for you. I think it took us a minute or two to get it up and running in July.
Okay.
But it's been implemented across all of our community colleges. But I can pull how much has been expended for you and let y'all know.
Just wanted to follow up. Senator Boyd made some good points. I just want to follow up with, see how we're doing on those funds that were appropriated last year to help get some of these adult education learners back in the classroom.
And that is one of the hurdles we take for granted sometimes, that somebody can afford to pay for a GED. And oftentimes that can be a hurdle. And so thank y'all for that. Just the test.
Keep us posted as soon as you can on whatever data you've got to help us understand how that's going. Thank you.
Thank you.
I apologize. I knew we were trying to get out of here. But I really do want to address what you said, Dr. Fisher. And I come from the school board, and we struggle with the same thing you just talked about. Assistant teachers, they were included in this last bill that we had, but bus drivers, secretaries, HVAC, whatever, we seem to always forget them. And I agree with you. And I hope that, and I know this is a budget here and you didn't ask for any money, and I'm not probably giving any either, but you'd have a support from this side if it was amended for that. Because I do think that we do forget those who are paddling under the water, and they really do paddle. It helps us look good on top of the water. And I would hope that we don't forget those people. Thank you.
Senator Dupree, thank you very much for that. And the 6% salary improvement request from the colleges really envisions and includes all college employees. So yeah, I appreciate you mentioning that. And Dr. Vasic, thank you so much for that. And so 5% would be obviously less, 4, 3, 2. So we appreciate that. And any further thought that Senate may have toward that, we'd greatly appreciate that. So.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, rising report.
No, back in the old ice age.